nation's heart when he was crowned the King of the Jungle, and he is the smiliest member of our This Morning family. But Sam Thompson says none of it would have been possible without his ADHD.
Yeah, Sam is now teaming up with ADHD UK to help positively change what it means in the lives of people who have the condition. Sorry, I'm just getting a bit confused there because I wasn't supposed to read that.
You're still thinking about sunburn.
He joins us today. Sam Thompson is here. It's so lovely to see you. And you did win our hearts in I'm a Celebrity. We absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
And do you maybe put that to the fact that you did have ADHD and did that help you?
Do you know what? I've done a lot of things recently, a lot of videos where I say ADHD is like a superpower. And I genuinely do believe that throughout my life it has helped me gain a lot. And there's a lot of negative stigma around ADHD, which I just want to change.
Yeah.
I want to be like, no, there's so many positives there as well. And I genuinely do believe in the jungle when I was out there, you know what it's like. You have the energy and you want to speak to people and it gets real boring in there. So you've got to do something. So I would attribute some of it to it, yeah.
But I love your enthusiasm. I love how excitable you get. I love the fact that you hug longer than normal.
You know what I mean?
You're
I love a lingering hug. Did I just say this?
I love that.
John knows.
When you first went in there, I can't remember who you gave the first hug to when you went into I'm a Celebrity. But I absolutely love the fact that they were a little bit awkward. They were like, oh, gosh.
And
What's
going on here?
Back to tell them to get off.
It's so genuine as well. I think that's what people love about you. It's like this infectious enthusiasm. I remember when you first came out, I wrote you a little note and I was just
the
like...
nicest thing ever, by the way.
Oh, that's a pleasure. And I just think it's so lovely to see someone who's genuinely lovely doing well. How was your ADHD in terms of your education when you were younger?
It was a struggle, mate. I'm not going to lie. It was bad, actually. And I remember I once cried into my textbooks at school. I'll never forget that. I basically was trying to revise. I tried to be a good student, and I would sit in my little room, and I'd open my book and be like, "Here we go. This is it. You're going to do it." And I'd read these things, and none of it would go in. I was just reading words.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand how everyone else can do this and actually understand what's happening here. And I would get distracted by everything. I'd get distracted by the words themselves.
Yeah.
And my mind would completely be wandering all over the place. I remember just being like, I'm never going to be able to understand or revise for anything. And the only time I was ever good at a subject was if I really loved it. So if I loved something, this is why I would say this to the young people that I see on the street and stuff about having ADHD being a superpower. I think when you adore something, I love classical civilization. I love my ancient Greek myths.
Did you?
Like Stephen Fry is like a hero of mine. And so because I'm so invested, I love Harry Potter. I know all the lore. So I do all the deep dives into the lore and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a proper nerd. So all that stuff I'm so proficient in. But anything that I actually don't find interesting, I struggle so much to even slightly understand it.
I think what it comes down to, isn't it? It's like different people want to learn in different ways.
Yeah.
And so, like, some people learn a certain way really well, certain people just... And because the education system is one particular way for one particular type of person, that's what makes it really difficult, I think.
It is. And also, I think I was probably the last generation where no one quite knew what was going on as well.
And every brain is different. You know, it's not just about how we learn, because that's just how we learn. Every brain is different. And so all of our brains are wired slightly differently, they all process information slightly differently, and there is no one set way of learning. It's why you need to have loads and loads of different options available.
Yeah.
So, Anna, with someone who's got ADHD, is there lots of different types of people and how it affects people differently?
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all. It's like a cluster or a whole set of traits or symptoms, and everybody has a different mix, and not even everybody has the H. So some people will have ADD, which is the attention deficit and the difficulties with organisation, concentration, having the multiple tabs open in the brain, struggling with those areas, but not have the kind of buzzy energy, say, that you have, that hyperactivity component, because the H stands for hyperactivity. So it's not even the case that everybody with the attention deficit issues has the hyperactivity component.
Do you know what, as well? I think a big part of joining ADHD UK, the charity that I'm involved with now, I think, is to more for me to reach young people and use my platform for them, because it's Look, I say it's a superpower. I'm very aware, by the way. There are a lot of struggles that come with being neurodiverse. Like, there are that you've got to navigate. But I genuinely believe, and this is only my lived experience, but I genuinely believe when you've got like 8-year-olds coming up to you and like their parents coming up to you with their kids, being like they were bullied at school and now they've watched The Jungle and they think that it's a better thing. Like, I don't want to sit there and say to a kid, hey, man, there are going to be struggles. I want to say the positives.
Yeah.
And I want the kid to sit there and be like, do you know what? This is actually, there are good things to this as well that I can set my mind to.
Yeah.
I worry that there are so many, they have a negative opinion of themselves once they get this diagnosis. And yes, there are struggles, but there also are so many benefits. I genuinely believe that if you set your mind to something that you absolutely love, you'll be the best in your field.
You'll
at it.
fly.
So
Yeah,
true.
I really do believe that.
I think we've got some footage, actually, of you in your ambassador role, talking to some youngsters, I think. I think we do.
Absolute superpower. I promise you. Put your mind to anything and you'll be amazing at it, as long as you enjoy what you do. And then, being neurodiverse, the best thing ever. I'm neurodiverse, I've got ADHD. And that means what could we be? ADHD friends. Yeah!
Everyone's using it everywhere.
I'm wearing the same outfit, Joel.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry about that.
So nice. We'll get you a new shirt. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. That's so lovely. And that child is going to remember that forever. You know, it's going to really set a course for her.
Mate, it's one of those things where, like, I know it sounds corny, but, like, I want this to be my legacy.
Yeah.
Of being in this industry and stuff like that. It's the thing that has struck a chord with me the most. And meeting these really young people, like that girl was so sweet and her mum was so sweet.
And she'll never forget that moment.
Do you know, and I hope she doesn't, because she, God, I don't know, I'm tearing up a little bit. She was like feeling a little bit bad about it, and I was like, no, it's just not bad. Like, you are the sweetest little girl. You've got the best life ahead of you. Like, utilise it for the right reason, for like something that you absolutely love, and it's going to be amazing for you. There are negatives, and there are struggles, not negatives. There are struggles with it, like there are with everything in life. But when you're that young, I feel like you just want to hear the positives.
Oh, Sam. It's
you
so
know?
lovely. And obviously he got diagnosed. For anybody out there who's waiting for a diagnosis, what would you say to them, and what treatments are out there for them?
So you can have therapy, which is going to be about kind of learning some organisational skills, some really practical strategies to manage so that you can get through the day more easily. For kids who are at school, can get through school and cope a little bit better. So there's a practical component. There's the coming to terms with it and understanding how your brain works and how it's different. And then, which is really important, and that's where diagnosis can be so helpful, because suddenly it makes you feel like there's not something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You know, you understand.
It's normal.
That's exactly what happened to me, by
You
the way.
understand. Even if it's not normal, you understand why you do things, what it is about your brain, you know, why you struggle in certain areas, why you don't in others. It's brilliant from that perspective. And then there's, of course, medication. Medication has to be prescribed by a psychiatrist. So if you think that you're going to want to go down the medication route, or if you think you want to consider it for your child, you have to get diagnosed by a psychiatrist. Everything else, you can see a psychologist, specialist ADHD psychologist, without a psychiatrist, but you can't get medication without one.
It's also really important to understand why you feel you need a diagnosis, right?
Right. So exactly that. So if you want medication, you have to have the diagnosis. It's really straightforward. But otherwise, is it about kind of validating your experiences? Because a lot of people feel validated when they have the label, and I totally get that. It's really understandable. But actually, sometimes if you know that you've got a lot of traits and you know that this is likely, maybe you can help validate yourself and go, I'm almost certainly would get the diagnosis if I went for it. I can work as though I do have it, and I can help people to understand that that is the way I am, because I probably am.
Yeah.
So why you need it, why you want that diagnosis is important.
Yeah. Anna, thank you so much for joining us. And Sam,
Thank you, Sam.
just keep using your platform for this, because I think it's incredible. Thank you
so much
so
for
much.
having me. It's been an absolute honour.
Well, you're part of the family, Babs. We're not letting go of you. We're not letting go
to
of you.
Joel's dressing room after this and nick a couple of shirts.
Please do.
There we go.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you so much.